I think Hare Krishna, we can
We'll
get
start some kirtan while we're waiting.
Oh, Maharaj, I was just saying we can get started if you'd like, or we could do some kirtan. I think it's like 5 minutes past the time. So
Yeah, someone could do some kirtan for a few minutes, and then we can get going.
Krishna Krishna.
Sure.
I don't think we can do responsive kirtan. It's terrible.
Hare Krishna, we can
We'll
get
start some kirtan while we're waiting.
Oh, Maharaj, I was just saying.
But someone could, who'd like to lead kirtan or do kirtan?
Kirti, would you like to lead some kirtan? Thought I saw you here. Gitamrita? I'm not on mute, right? Okay. Ramji Prabhu with the kids from
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Kirti can lead Kirtan.
Okay, okay, Mataji, yes. If Kirti can lead for a few minutes. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Kirti. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for joining us. We're very, very honored and excited to have His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj lead us in our Sunday class today. We have devotees from all over US and from other parts of the world as well. Maharaj indicated that we have some devotees here joining us from the UK. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today on this very special Sunday feast. We'd like to wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day to all the Vaishnavis on this call. It's a very, very special day today, and it makes our Sunday feast like a wonderful cake, and the cherry on this cake is clasped by His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj. Most devotees on this call are very familiar with who His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj is, but I wanted to take just a minute to give a quick introduction to His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami today. Maharaj is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and he was initiated in 1968. He has served as an editor or an assistant editor for nearly all books of Srila Prabhupada published during Srila Prabhupada's lifetime. In the past over 50 years, Maharaj has been in this movement. He has lectured extensively at communities, yoga studios, colleges, and universities all around the world. I actually remember seeing His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj when I was a young kid back in Dubai, where Maharaj used to visit very often, and we were very fortunate. He had visited my parents' home a few times and done some Mangalartis in our home. So it just brings back memories of my childhood and hearing Maharaj speak quite many years ago at this time. In 1978, Maharaj accepted the order of renounced life sannyas, and he's traveled extensively since then. In 1987, along with Dhanodhara Swami and Burijan Prabhu, he founded the Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education. Since 1988, he has served as the director of Srila Prabhupada's publishing house, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and he now oversees the work of BBT in Africa, where they're doing some absolutely amazing things in distributing Srila Prabhupada's literature in various African languages. Maharaj served as the editor-in-chief of Back to Godhead magazine from 1991 through 1998. And he's also served as the editor for Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita and Sri Krishna Leela Stava and many other books. So without further ado, thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining us today. And we're really looking forward to hearing from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesha Tarane. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Apropos of Mother's Day, Ram Vijay Prabhu asked me to speak on Bhagavad Gita 9:17. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Riksama Yajurevacha. Lord Krishna says, I'm the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandfather. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. Purport. The entire cosmic manifestations, moving and non-moving, are manifested by different activities of Krishna's energy. In the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who who are nothing but Krishna's marginal energy. Under the creation of Prakriti, some of them appear as our father, mother, grandfather, creator, etc. But actually, they are parts and parcels of Krishna. As such, these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc., are nothing but Krishna. In this verse, the word dhata means creator. Not only are our father and mother parts and parcels of Krishna, but the creator, grandmother, and grandfather, etc., are also Krishna. Actually, any living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas, therefore, aim only toward Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step toward understanding Krishna. That subject matter, which helps us purify our constitutional position, is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such is also Krishna. In all the Vedic mantras, the word Om, called pranava, is a transcendental sound vibration and is also Krishna. And because in all the hymns of the four Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rik, and Atharva, the pranava or Omkar is very prominent, it is understood to be Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada's purport here is in this section actually are unusual for him. Usually he's emphasizing the distinction between the Lord and the living entity. And here he speaks of the oneness of the Lord and the living entity. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Krishna is everything. Nothing exists other than Krishna. The Mayavadis also like to quote, and it's a Vedic mantra, Sarva Kalavidam Brahma. Everything is nothing but Brahma, or the absolute truth. So here, Prabhupada's speaking from that angle of vision, that nothing exists other than Krishna. Our father is Krishna, our mother is Krishna, our friends are Krishna, the air we breathe is Krishna, the earth on which we stand is Krishna. In the 10th canto, it said, the words that we use to distinguish one thing from another are nothing but Krishna. So in this way, Krishna's presenting himself. In the previous verse also, he said, when there's a yajna, I'm the fire, I'm the ghee, I'm the yajna itself, I'm the mantras, I'm everything, I'm the offering. So this is Krishna. Everything's included within Krishna, or everything is non-different from Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness, to see Krishna everywhere. To see Krishna everywhere. So Krishna, seeing Krishna everywhere. But our vision of Krishna is not homogeneous. The Mayavadi view of Krishna is that, or the Mayavadi view of Brahma, the Mayavadi view of Krishna is that Krishna is a projection of a higher truth, or he's the saguna Brahma. When you add material qualities to Brahma, that's Krishna. That's their offensive, really, view. But in the reality, they say, Brahman has no form, no qualities, no name, no activities. There's nothing but one absolute, homogeneous, indivisible Brahma. That's their idea. But Krishna says, no, not tvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa, nachaiva nabhavishyama sarve vayamata. There's never a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, and there'll never be a time in the future when we'll cease to exist. That means that Krishna is asserting individuality. Nityo nityanam, chaitanas chaitananam. In the Upanishads it said, among all the eternals, he's the supreme eternal. Among all the conscious living beings, he's the supreme conscious living being. Elsewhere, the Upanishads, Dua Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. There are two birds sitting in the tree, one eating the fruit, the other just watching. So in so many places, the individuality of the living being and Krishna is confirmed. And it's said, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaya Vashruyate. The absolute truth has innumerable energies. Innumerable energies. To understand the absolute truth, we have to understand the absolute with his energies. As we understand the sun with the sunshine, we understand fire with heat and light. We have to understand Krishna with his energies. Then Shakti Shakti Matayor Abheda. There's no distinction between Krishna and his energies because they're all part of the same integral whole. The smoke is also fire. The sparks are also fire. The wood is also fire. When we say fire, it means there's wood, there's sparks, there's smoke. At the same time, there's a distinction between the flames and the smoke. You don't cook your lunch on smoke. But the smoke is nothing but the energy of fire. So matter is also not different from Krishna. It's also Krishna's energy. Spirit is not different from Krishna. The living entity is not different from Krishna. Sarva Kalavidam Brahma, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So in that way, Krishna is speaking about his all-pervasive presence. Now, Pitaham, I'm the father. He is the father of all living beings. Aham bija pradapita. He places the seed of the living entity into the womb of material nature. So he's the father of the whole universe. Pitaham asya jagato. And Mata, he's the mother of everything. The father, the mother. Material nature is also Krishna. Then Pitamaha, Adhata, the supporter. As Lord Vishnu, he supports the cosmic creation. As Ananta, he holds all the universes on his head. Pitamaha, Lord Brahma, is also Krishna's representative. Then Vedyam, Vedyam Vastavam Atravastu Shividam. It's Krishna who's the ultimate goal of knowledge. Pavitra, he's the supreme purifier. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, the Omkar, sound is also Krishna. And the Vedas are also Shabda Brahma, they're also Krishna. So in this way, one has to see Krishna everywhere, and yet Krishna manifests through different energies. The Jiva Tatasta Shakti Veda Ved Prakash, the living entities specifically, are the marginal energy of Krishna. So they're one with Krishna and they're different from Krishna. In quality, they're one. and in quantity, they're different. The Mata, the mother, is also, the father and mother are representatives of Krishna. The king is the representative of Krishna, the father is the representative of Krishna, the mother is the representative of Krishna. The child grows up by the protection of the father and mother, nourishment of the father and mother. So that means that Krishna is appearing in those forms to serve that purpose. So we get this body, and through the father and the mother, and the relationship is established. Father, mother, children. But that relationship is established for some time only. For some time, this is my mother, this is my father, these are my children. Therefore, when the son of Chitraketu died prematurely, Angira Rishi brought the child back to life. He said, "Your parents are lamenting for you terribly. Please come back and speak to them." So the child comes back and he says, wait a second, in which lifetime were they my father and mother? I've gone through so many lifetimes. When were they my father and mother? That's the position of the living entity. For some time we appear as father, mother, children, family members, and then we shuttle off to the next lifetime, and that relationship is gone. People with material orientation, if they hear that there's heaven or a spiritual world, life after death, then they want to know, will I be reunited with my family members there? Because they want this relationship to be eternal. They want it to be permanent. They don't want it to end. So they want, will I be reunited with my wife, with my husband, with my children, because thinking in terms of the temporary identity, which is kind of a dream. As a dream exists for some time and disappears, so these relationships appear for some time, and then they're gone. Then they're gone. So from that point of view also, the real relationship is with Krishna. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhanapran. It's Krishna who's my mother, Krishna who's my father, Krishna who's the wealth of my life. Aparad Shunna Hoye Laho Krishna. Therefore, chant Hare Krishna. This relationship will be finished. The relationships of this material world, these relationships will be finished after some time. But the relationship with Krishna is the eternal relationship. Srila Prabhupada used to quote, Janame Janame Sabe Pitamatapai. In birth after birth, in every birth, we get a father and mother. In human society, in dog society, cat society, rat society, bird society, beast society, Pitamata Pai. We get a mother and a father. But Krishna Guru Nahi Mile. Bhaja Hariyai. It's not so easy to get Krishna and Guru. That we don't get. That we don't get. But Srila Prabhupada, there's, what is that? Chakudan dilo jay janme janme prabhushe. Prabhupada sometimes used to quote it. Chakudan dilo jay janme janme pita she. The spiritual master is my father. Life after life. And then he connects us with the real Father, with Krishna. So there the relationships are eternal. One may be Krishna's friend, one may be Krishna's parent, one may be Krishna's beloved, one may be Krishna's so many things. Those are the real relationships. Those are eternal. So by going beyond the relationships related to this body, one can establish that, revive that eternal relationship. Sarvopadi vinir muktam tat pratena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. When we give up our false designations, I'm Jones, I'm Smith, I'm Patel, I'm Subramaniam, I'm this, I'm that, and we come to our real identity, servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, then one is situated in pure consciousness. Well, this is our business, to chant Hare Krishna and to free ourselves from the temporary designations and to come to the real identity. And that real identity, then we'll see that this person is supposed to be my mother, my father. Actually, this person is Krishna. That is, Krishna is appearing in the form of my mother, my father, my life, my everything. So one sees Krishna everywhere. It's not that we just trash everyone. You're not my mother, you're not my father, you're not this, you're not that. So then what are you? You're dirt. No. But temporarily, someone's appearing by the grace of Krishna as father, mother, whatever, grandfather. But finally, my relationship, my permanent relationship is with Krishna. And everyone else, all other living entities, are seen in relationship to Krishna. The father is also an eternal living being, mother, grandfather. But they're not eternally my grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, my father. They're eternally Krishna's integrated parts. Mami Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So these are some thoughts. And I wanted to add a little nectar, really, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Krishna, when he comes to this material world, Prabhupada said, just to keep pace with the way things happen here, he accepts a father and mother, he accepts Vasudeva and Devaki, he accepts Nanda Yashoda, or as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath Mishra, and Sachimata. So in Antya-lila, there's, in the 19th chapter, there's some sweet discussion about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kaviraj Goswami says, Vande tam Krishna Chaitanyam matra bhakta shiromanim pralapya mukha sangharshi madhuyane lalasaya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most exalted of all devotees of mothers. He spoke like a madman, rubbing his face against the walls, overwhelmed by ecstatic love. he would sometimes enter the Jagannath garden, Jagannath Vallabha garden, to perform his pastimes. So then Chaitanya Kaviraj Goswami says, Prativatsar Prabhutare Patana Nadiyate Vichcheda Dukita Jani Janani Ashvasite. Janani means his mother. The Lord knew that his mother was greatly afflicted by separation from him. And so he would send Jagadananda Pandit to Navadvip every year to console her. Lord Chaitanya had made his residence in Puri for that reason. His mother requested that if you go to Vrindavan, I'll never see you, I'll never get word of you. Or if you go traveling as a sannyasi, then would you like me to stay here? I'll do that. No, then everyone will laugh at you that he's taken sannyas and he's staying with his mother. So you please make your residence at Jagannath Puri, because the devotees come and go from Puri. I'll sometimes get word about you. So Lord Chaitanya did that. And he sent Jagadananda Pandit to every year to console her. Nadia Chalaha Matare Kohila Namaskar Amar Name Pada Padma Dariha Tahar. Lord Chaitanya told him, go to Nadia and offer my obeisances to my mother. Touch her lotus feet in my name. Kahiha Tahare Tumi Karaha Smaran Nitya Ashi Ami Tomar Vandiye Choran. Tell her for me, please remember that I come here every day and offer my respects to your lotus feet. Jai Dine Tomar Ichcha Koraite Bhojan, She Dine Asi Avashya Koriye Bhakshan. Any day you desire to feed me, I certainly come and accept what you offer. Tomar Seva Chori Ami Korilu Sanyas Baulaha Ami Koilu Dharmanash. I've given up service to you and have accepted the vow of sannyas. I've thus become mad and have destroyed the principles of religion. E aparad tumi na lahia amar, tomar adhinami putra she tomar. Mother, please do not take this as an offense, for I, your son, am completely dependent on you. Nilachale achi ami tomar agyate, yabat jiba tabat ami nariba charite. I'm staying here at Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, according to your order. As long as I live, I shall not leave this place. So this is Lord Chaitanya's pastime. His mother was so affectionate toward him, and Lord Chaitanya honored his mother's affection by sending Jagannath Pandit, and also it's described elsewhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Shachi Mata would cook, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat from the offering, and then the plate would be empty, and then Shachi Mata would be confused. Did I offer this or did I not offer this? So then she'd think, well, maybe I have to cook again, or I have to offer again. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming personally to accept the offerings. But then by the influence of Yogamaya, she was thinking that if only Nimai would come, if only Nimai were here. But actually he was coming. So this is Krishna's eternal nature. He reciprocates in this way with his devotees. Someone has affection for Krishna as a mother, and he reciprocates and becomes the perfect son. Someone has affection for Krishna as a friend, and Krishna reciprocates and becomes the perfect friend. Someone wants Krishna as husband, Krishna reciprocates. He expands himself into as many forms as necessary to reciprocate as the perfect husband. So this is Krishna, the greatest devotee of mothers, or Krishna's everywhere, and we can revive our relationship with Krishna. Therefore, the best father and mother are the father and mother who train their child how to be Krishna conscious. How to be Krishna conscious. The Shuniti, the mother of Dhruva Maharaj, she instructed the boy that, yes, you've been insulted, but what can I do? I can't help you. But if you are looking for some satisfaction, then only Krishna can help you. So she directed him toward Krishna. So this is the, therefore, and Dhruva Maharaj, when he was going back to Godhead, the Lord sent an airplane to take him to Vaikuntha. And he was on the way, but he was thinking, what about my mother? But then he saw that his mother was also going in the next plane. So this is Krishna's mercy also. If someone becomes a devotee of Krishna, then he becomes the glory of the whole family. And the mother is glorified, the father is glorified, the whole family is glorified thousands of times over, because when there's one child who's Krishna conscious, as one fragrant flower in a forest makes the whole forest fragrant. So the presence of one devotee, one pure devotee, glorifies the whole family. So this is the duty. Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, namochayedya samupetum mrityum. One shouldn't become mother, father, guru, unless he can save the person under their guidance from the clutches of birth and death. So Suniti did that, and her example is glorious. And there are many others, great mothers of great devotees. And I'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if there's some questions, you can, I guess, either chat box them, or if you're allowed to unmute yourself, you can unmute yourself and turn your video on and just ask. You're welcome.
Vasundari Mataji, are devotees able to unmute themselves?
Yes,
or they, okay.
devotees can unmute themselves.
Or alternatively, better to put the questions in the chat and we can read them out. And Maharaj, thank you so much for such a wonderful talk on this beautiful verse. And then the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply amazing. One question that comes to mind is, Maharaj, you mentioned that, parents could be looked at as, expansion, or I would say representation of Krishna, because they're taking care of the children so nicely. But oftentimes we also see that parents are not Krishna conscious. So it kind of becomes a contradictory.
Yeah, then Ma means Maya.
Mm.
Then Ma means Maya. Then the mother is Maya, the father is Maya. Hiranyakashipu, he wasn't serving as the representative of Krishna, although he also benefited. But still, it's different angles of vision. Just as we see Krishna everywhere. So we see that the fire, Krishna says, aham agnir, aham hutam. I'm the fire. But it doesn't mean we'll throw ourselves into the fire. The fire is also Krishna. Everything's Krishna. The Sachimata, the Lord's mother, gave instruction on this. Lord Chaitanya performed the pastime because she forbid him. She was afraid that he would take sannyas like Vishwarup. So then what to do? All right, we won't send him to school because there he'll learn too much. So then in protest, Lord Chaitanya was sitting on the rejected pots. After cooking, you throw the old clay pots and the leaves, everything into a pit for the leftover remnants. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting on the pots. And that's a dirty place, and he's son of a Brahmin. What are you doing? No, there's no difference between the pots or anything else. Everything is Brahman. So I'm sitting here on the pots. What's the difficulty? So then Sachimata instructed him that yes, it's true that the pots are also clay and the earth is also clay. But when there's clay in the form of a pitcher, I can carry water in it. And when there's clay in the form of a brick, I can't carry water. So even though it's the same clay, it acts differently. So similarly, the pots in this form, they're different. You can't eat clay, as Krishna was eating clay. You can't eat clay, you'll get sick. But if you eat sweetmeats, then you'll get healthy. It'll be nourishing. So Chaitanya, why didn't you tell me this philosophy before? He was playing like a little Mayavadi, but his mother instructed him that there's oneness and there's difference. So Krishna's energies act differently. The mother who represents Krishna acts as a representative of the spiritual, of course, always representing Krishna, but when she's Krishna conscious, then she's representing the spiritual energy. And when she's not Krishna conscious, then she's Maya, she's representing the material energy. Still representing Krishna, but indirectly through the material energy. And otherwise spiritually, directly.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I had a question, Maharaj. This is more for a question for children whose parents are devotees. Sometimes, when we tend in the familial relationship, we may say something to our parents that is not necessarily appropriate or things like that. Where does Vaishnava Aparad fit into a relationship between parents and children and all of them are devotees?
Well, first thing is, it's not really their question of aparad, it's a question of culture. When Shringi cursed Maharaj Parikshit, Prabhupada makes the point that he was an uncultured son of a Brahmin. There's culture. One has to know how to behave. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that one has to follow the etiquette. So there's culture, how to, even Christian, honor thy father and thy mother. And the same thing is there in Vedic culture, even more so. How to honor the parents, how to honor. I remember I was interviewing one devotee who'd helped establish the temple in Delhi. And he was the son of a wealthy industrialist. His father had the Sylvania light bulb franchise for all of India. And that was one of his businesses. So I was interviewing him, and he said that, yes, I attended this school, and then I worked in my father's business, and then I worked in this other business of my father's. And then when I forget, 28 or 32, he said, my father gave me permission to start my own business. So for a Westerner, it's like, your father gave you what? Like permission? Because we think if you want to start a business, you start a business. What does that have to do with your? No, when my father gave me permission, then I started a business. So this is Vedic culture. So much respect is there for the father, for the mother. That's culture. Then one has to act according to the relationship. It's not that, if you scold your child, now it's a Vaishnava aparad. It's a duty. Jagannath Mishra, in fact, he had a dream. A Brahmin came to him in a dream and said that you're scolding your son, thinking that he's your child, but actually he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, your son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Jagannath Mishra said, he may be whatever he may be, but he's my son, and I have to teach him the right way to act, otherwise he'll go off course. So one has to act according to the relationship. One may be just like the king. It's a long story, but there's in Saudi Arabia, there were some brothers who were the brothers of Ibn Saud, the original king. And the eldest brother became the king. And the others were finance minister, home minister, this minister, that minister. And one of them, maybe the foreign minister, he was the sharpest guy. He was the sharpest arrow in the quiver. And all the foreign diplomats, when they came to Saudi Arabia, they would head for his house and he'd give them the lowdown on everything, and they'd talk about negotiations and developments and so on. So because he was the smartest guy there. But then when the same diplomats were present with him in the court, he wouldn't say anything because he was in the presence of the king. So he performed his duty according to the relationship. So we have to do that. These are my parents, yes, that provides the framework for how we should act. This is my father, I act this way. This is my mother, I act this way. Even Krishna, he met the Pandavas. He offered obeisances to Yudhisthira because he's older and he's the king. He embraced Bhima and Arjuna because they're equals. And he offered blessings to Nakul Sahadev. It's the same Krishna, and they're all devotees, but acting according to the relationship. Similarly, he's offering respect to Kunti Devi, because aunt. So in the family dealings, we have to act according to our duty, according to the proper behavior, achar. And we have to see that everyone is Krishna's servant. My parents are serving Krishna. My children have been sent to me to be trained up in Krishna consciousness. Everybody's to be engaged in Krishna's business. So that way we have to see. And then it becomes very nice. Prabhupada told the story, by the way, that he was with one of his godbrothers, and his son, Prabhupada's son, was sitting on his lap, and the godbrother joked to the child, "Oh, you're putting your feet on the body of a Vaishnav. This is not very good." And so the child replied, he said, "He's not a Vaishnav, he's my father." He's not a Vaishnava, he's my father. Is that all right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from other devotees? Maharaj, there's a question on the chat window. How was your first meeting experience with Srila Prabhupada?
How was it? It was pretty good. What could I tell you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Uh,
I have a question. Hare Krishna.
yes.
Um, Thank you for the nice enlightening talk.
Just for a second, I'm sorry to be short with you. I could tell you the whole story, but we have 5 minutes, and it wasn't such a, it's not like I met Prabhupada in this extraordinary circumstance. I joined the temple, and then when Prabhupada came to the temple, that's when I'm sorry, Vaikunteshwar, go ahead.
Okay. How do we explain to a non-devotee about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's attachment to his mother and staying at a place where Sachimata wanted him to stay to please her? Present-day sannyasis would not follow in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footsteps. So how do we explain this to non-devotees?
Mostly the non-devotees would probably appreciate it. You know, why did he even take sannyas, right? They would think he should have stayed home and served his parents. You know, what's the teaching of Bhagavad Gita? Serve your parents. You know, that's the level of most people's understanding. They think that this is the highest, this is God's order, that you perform your duty, you serve your parents, you stay home. That's what you do. And sannyas is like, what is this sannyas? And especially if your mother is elderly and your wife is a young girl, so generally the people would think that that's the least that he could have done was to stay at Puri. Actually, he should have stayed home, but at least he stayed in Puri. So that's one angle of vision. Then those who are more strict, who understand the meaning of sannyas, who appreciate the thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first of all, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he can do whatever he likes. He can do whatever he likes. Second thing is, so he honored his mother, that, and he was considerate that his mother would feel too much separation, too much overwhelmed. Her husband had already died. Her other son had already left. He's the only son. So he made this concession. He gave this, what would you say? He honored this wish of his mother that he wouldn't go so far away. That was his kindness. That was his kindness. But he didn't stay home eating sweet rice and rasgullas. He wasn't dependent on his mother. He wasn't, he followed the principles of sannyas. He followed. At Puri, he was an ideal sannyasi, strictly avoiding the association of women, no family attachment. Who can be such a sannyasi as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? His standard of sannyas was exemplary. He also traveled. Before he stayed in Puri, he traveled all over South India, spreading the message of Krishna. He went to Vrindavan also. But then he made his residence in Puri for two reasons. One, externally, he was honoring his mother's request. But internally, this is the place of Lord Jagannath. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was absorbing himself in the eternal mood of Krishna and gopis in separation. That's, of course, an exalted topic. But for the ordinary person, he went to Puri because Lord Jagannath was there. And he was absorbed in doing bhajan. What is the fault? What is the fault? Otherwise, he was so strict. No woman could come and approach him. If they had some business, from a distance, they could offer their obeisances. There was one pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a young boy who was coming to see him every day. Very nice young boy, very gentle, and he reminded the Lord of Krishna just by his beautiful appearance. And the boy loved Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was coming every day to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then Jagadananda Pandit one day said, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing him so much mercy. But then Jagadananda Pandit said, this is a scandal. What is that? Oh, this is a scandal. You're showing so much affection to that boy. What's wrong? His mother is a widow, and she's young and beautiful. So everyone will talk about it. Why is he showing so much affection to that boy? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instructions. From now on, don't let that boy come. He was so careful. He was so careful. Ideal sannyasi. No one can be such a sannyasi as Chaitanya. As no one can be such a great devotee of mothers as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no one can be such an ideal sannyasi. Is that all right?
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. There's a question.
Yes, Mark, there's a question in the chat window. I was just...
Yeah. As the parents get old, the roles between children and parents seem to get reversed, and the children become responsible for the parents' well-being. Yes. Sometimes the child has to be strict with the parents on health matters. For example, asking them to refrain from sugar and sweets, diabetic parents. However, this causes friction in some situations. Is it better for the child to be strict and tolerate the friction, or give in to the parents and potentially ruin their health? Sorry about the long question, not so long. Yes, that's a matter of duty. Krishna also, when he met Vasudeva and Devaki in Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse, I think that was the occasion. He was regretting that he couldn't serve them, that he couldn't be with them when in his childhood years. And there he says that it's the duty of every human being to serve the Brahmins, the elderly parents, other dependents. Anyone who has the ability to do these things and doesn't do it is like a dead body, even though breathing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the example, and Krishna also gave that instruction that yes, we should serve our parents. And then, yes, as you said, the role gets reversed. So one has to be a little, it's interesting, it's touchy, that on the one side, we have to sometimes insist, we have to be very careful to see to their welfare. And at the other side, we still have to remember that that they're my superiors. I remember there was one incident in Prabhupada's last days, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was Prabhupada's very intimate servant and was taking care of his practically everything to do with his health, to do with his work. Anything Prabhupada would say, call Tamal. So Prabhupada in his last days was hardly eating, maybe taking a little juice, a little this, a little that, hardly anything. So I remember one day that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was trying to persuade Prabhupada to take something. I forget whether it was juice or a little, whatever little bit. And he was sort of taking a little bit of a superior position, not ordering, but almost treating Prabhupada like a child, trying to persuade him to take something. And Prabhupada cut him right there and, took the position of spiritual master and, told him no. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj backed right off. He'd seen I've overstepped the line, or Prabhupada has drawn the line here. He just backed right away and apologized. I'm sorry, Prabhupada. So that's how it is. It's a bit of a, both truths are there. He's the superior, and at the same time, you're trying to do everything you can for their welfare. So you have to figure out how you're going to do it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for that wonderful answer. There was a devotee who sent a question just in a private message. The question the devotee has is, what should we pray to Krishna for the mother who left her body by leaving this world? It's about the mother who spent all her life struggling to raise the children, giving them examples of devotion and bhakti by practicing it.
So we pray that she can be engaged in Krishna's service eternally. That's our prayer for everyone we love, everyone we have affection for, or even people we don't have affection for. May they be engaged in Krishna's service. That's the highest blessing. That's the highest blessing. People are praying, may my mother's health be all right. May my father's business recover, this, that. But the real prayer is, may everyone be engaged in the service of Krishna. So it seems that the mother was serving Krishna, was raising Krishna conscious children. So that's already, like, even without a prayer, Krishna already recognizes that this devotee has acted as my servant. This devotee has done this. So already Krishna's mercy is there, even without our prayers. But if our prayer is there, then let this be our prayer, that may my mother be eternally engaged in Krishna's service. That prayer is there. I was just thinking, it's not quite analogous or not quite on target, but I was just thinking the other day that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would, Advaita Acharya would gather with other senior people in Navadip, other senior Vaishnavas, and they would have Krishna Katha and so on. And Nimai, as a little child, would come, and he'd be doing whatever his childish activities. And the Advaita Prabhu was thinking the child was so beautiful, if he would have just become Krishna conscious. Later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was kind of a, what would you say? A teacher and an academic and a smart, almost a nyaya, a logician. Then the Vaishnavas, if only Nimai would become a devotee of Krishna. That was their desire. That was their desire, that he should just become a devotee. Of course, he's Krishna, but they were thinking if he could become a devotee, that would be so nice. So that's our desire for everyone. We desire that everyone should revive their eternal nature of being a devotee of Krishna, or those who are devotees, we desire that they can attain perfection in devotional service. Is that all right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Maharaj, should we take more questions, or would you like us to close up? Whatever works.
I'm willing. What's your time slot? Till when?
It's about 1 o'clock, Maharaj.
Oh, till
1 o'clock.
It's
One-
central, 1 central, so 2 Eastern.
2 Eastern.
Sorry.
Okay, we have 20 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, can I ask a question, please?
sure.
This is Adi Gadadhar Das from Atlanta. Maharaj, thank you so
Ah,
much for
Hare
your
Krishna.
kind association. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, very nice to hear about culture among devotees, relationships, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu receiving feedback from his loving devotees, and Prabhupada also getting care from his loving servants like Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Mm.
Maharaj, my question is, in devotee relationships, how do we decide which devotee we can give suggestions and feedback to? Because I have experienced that sometimes if I give advice, then Krishna tests me. For example, if I tell a devotee, you should chant in the morning, your rounds, then Krishna tests me and I'm not able to chant my rounds in the morning. So then I realize that I have fallen down because maybe I became proud when I gave advice. So how do we decide who I can give feedback to, who we can advise, so that there is no Maryada Vyatikram? Hare Krishna.
There are different considerations. Good question. Thank you. One is you don't have to close your video. It's nice to see you. One is our position. As we said, Lord Chaitanya was very particular about etiquette. One time, who was it? Jagadananda Pandit gave advice to Sanatana Goswami, and Lord Chaitanya was quite angry with him. Who is this boy, Jagat? Who is he to give advice to Sanatana Goswami? So that consideration is there, that who's in the superior position. We advise our juniors and we take advice from our seniors. So that's a consideration. Who's older by age, who's older by initiation, who's older by spiritual advancement, who's in a superior position by virtue of a particular post, GBC man, temple president, Sankirtan leader, or by relationship, father, mother, elder brother, uncle. So those considerations are there. Those are like mundane considerations, you can say. The consideration of, or some are mundane, some are not, but in terms of hierarchy. And Vedic culture is very particular about that hierarchy. Everybody has to act in his spot. One has to know, where am I? Am I dealing with superiors, with equals, with juniors? So that's part of it. Another consideration is, am I speaking to someone who will listen? Some people, the relationship is, they look to me for advice. They regard me as a senior or as experienced. So they look to me for advice. So then I can reciprocate that way. Others, they don't want to hear from me. We know that as soon as I say, Prabhu, wouldn't it be better if, now I'm creating friction, because he's one of these people who doesn't want to hear Prabhu if, he's averse to advice. So then we have to look for other ways to advise him. Maybe we'll say, Prabhu, could I suggest something? And maybe he'll be a little open, but maybe he won't. So if it's one of those cases, then we have to deal differently. Then we may show by our example, or by instructing somebody else. Prabhupada gives that tactic, instructing the daughter-in-law by instructing the daughter. Well, that's another policy, another tactic. Looking for ways to, or praising someone else. This devotee is so wonderful. He always chants in the morning. And, tell us what you're getting out of that. So he may pick it up that way. If you told him, then he'd rebel. But since you're praising somebody else, he thinks, well, if I did that, I would also maybe get praised, or I would get some benefit. Let me try it. So different ways one has to think about it. Is that okay?
Very wonderful answer. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vaikunteshwara Prabhu has another question. When a friend asks us to pray for them because of some material conditions they are in, what should be our reply to such friends? And what kind of prayer can we offer? Because everything is controlled by Krishna. Yeah, that may be the best thing. That, of course we can say, yes, I'll pray to Krishna for your all welfare. Vaguely, I'm not going to say, yes, I'll pray that your leg heal more quickly, or that you'll get over your pneumonia, but I'll pray to Krishna for your all welfare. And if possible, we give some instruction that, why should I just pray to Krishna to help you with your disease? After all, the body is what it is. And, by nature's way, things will unfold. But I'll pray to Krishna that you can always be engaged in his service. I'll pray for the real thing, that you can have all spiritual perfection. Then you'll get free from all that includes, you're asking for $25. I'll give you 500. I'll pray for 500. I'll pray to Krishna that you'll live forever. You're just asking that you can, live through the week. I'll pray that you can live forever, that you be eternally free from old age, disease, death. Because after all, as long as we have this body, we have to tolerate these things. Some troubles will be there. So according to the person, we try to give as much spiritual understanding as the circumstances will allow. And of course, it's a question of tactfulness and a question of, again, what is the relationship? But that's the real thing. We try to give them the best thing. They come asking for some small thing. We want to give them the big thing. They want $25. We want to give them $1 million. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Are there any other questions from any other devotees at this time?
Then I'll give you, since I have 15 minutes more, there's another subject matter that is brought to mind by the occasion. The Prabhupada said, quoted often, Aro Mata Guru Patni Brahmani Rajapatnika Denu Dhatri Tata Prithvi Sapteti Matari Smrita. There are 7 mothers. The Aro Mata, the original mother, Guru Patni, the wife of the spiritual master, and Brahmani, the wife of a Brahmin, and Rajapatnika, the queen, wife of the king, and Dhenu, the cow, is also one of the mothers. We grow up on the milk of the mother and then the milk of the cow. So the cow is the mother. Dhenu, Dhatri, the nurse, is mother. Even Putana was, Krishna thought, I have to give her blessings because she's came to me as a nurse. Dhatri. And Prithvi, Mother Earth. So all of these 7 mothers, they're all to be honored. The modern society is so bad. They don't know how to treat their own mothers. Even the culture is so. I mean, I'm shocked now to hear, um, you know, people speaking to their parents on first name basis. This is just so. Uh, you know, as I was growing up in America, not India, this was so uncultured. But now it's like, you know, Jack and Judy, and you know, and that's how the children address their mothers. Vedic culture has so much uh, regard, such respect for the mothers. Although you hear, you know, in India, women are exploited, women are mistreated, blah, 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 blah. But this is our Vedic culture of women, that the mother should be treated with so much respect, so much respect. The Adamata, and so, and the earth should be treated with so much respect, and the cow. But their philosophy is to, or their culture is to disrespect the practically all of the mothers, to exploit the earth, to kill the cow, to abandon the parents. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his family, but for the higher purpose of service to Krishna and all living beings. But in the modern setup of things, people leave their parents just because, like, you know, we have our own life. The parents are just like burdens. And, you know, when a kid is like 18, he wants to move out and have his own life. And if he has the means, then he'll see about some institutional care for his elderly parents. But this regard, extreme regard that we find in the Vedic culture is missing. That means uncultured. Uncultured. And this is the Western culture that India wants to adopt foolishly, a culture in which parents are dishonored, cows are killed and eaten, the earth is exploited. It's not a culture worthy of the name. Only the good thing is, Prabhupada said that he said the good thing about you Western boys and girls is that you weren't very much attached to family life, because we were below the culture. You know, an Indian boy, oh my goodness, it's so hard for him to join the ashram. You know, if he's the eldest son or the only son or any kind of son, then he thinks, how can I leave my parents? He has to think 500 times before he could even dream of such a thing. But for a Western kid, you know, it's like, sure. You know, well, what will your parents think? I don't know, you know, they'll get over it. So in that sense, it was an advantage for us that we were so uncultured that it was easy for us to join Prabhupada and accept him as our guide. In the Vedic culture, in one sense, it's more difficult because it's culture. But of course, we shouldn't make it difficult. The parents should be, real culture is that everyone's a devotee. The parents are devotees, children become devotees, friends are devotees, everyone, Krishna conscious. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you so much, Marj, for that absolutely wonderful class, bringing the verse from Bhagavad Gita to life. For devotees on the call, if you're not aware, His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj is also conducting discussions on Srimad Bhagavatam on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the ISKCON New Jersey's Zoom link. And Maharaj, I believe you just finished the first canto summary, right, of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, I'll give you a link in the chat box.
So highly encourage devotees to please listen to that. They are spectacular, and very, very beautiful classes. Please, if you have time, definitely listen. So this is for those of us who are in Central, that'll be 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again,
I should also say that on the nights that I'm not speaking, they have a really great lineup of other speakers who are on that channel. Gauranga Prabhu spoke last night, and Sachinandan Maharaj spoke, and Lokanath Maharaj spoke. Giriraj Maharaj is lined up. Satsarup Maharaj is on that channel. Oh, no, Satsarup Maharaj was on that channel.
Yesterday, yeah.
yesterday morning.
I missed it because I was giving a class in London that day, but a really great lineup, so you can take advantage.
Well, again, thank you so much, Marge, for coming and joining us here and making our Sunday better. We really look forward to serving you in person when things open up here in our community in Round Rock. And special thank you to devotees from Atlanta who co-partnered the Sunday feast with us today, and to have you and speak for both of our congregations. Thank you so much, Marge.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So devotees of this time, we'll just
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
we will do a few announcements right now, Marge, with your permission. So please feel free to drop if you'd like, and we'll just chant Nashing prayers.
Shall I drop out?
Yes, Marge. Like,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you so much, Marge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna devotees, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll go through a few announcements for this week. Hopefully people can see my screen here shortly. Jay, again, we'd like to welcome everyone to our Sunday program. Special welcome to devotees from ISKCON Atlanta who co-partnered the Sunday Feast with us, and devotees who joined us from US and around the world. Saw a bunch of devotees from the UK, so welcome. Thank you for joining. Again, special thank you to His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj for the wonderful class. Today is Mother's Day. We want to take a moment to appreciate all the Vaishnavis of our community all around ISKCON in the world for their unbelievable contribution and the continued and sincere service that they're doing to help us grow, each of us. It's a nice day to call your parents and call devotees who have helped you in your spiritual life, as Maharaj was talking about earlier. We'd like to take another opportunity to appreciate our monthly donors. This is obviously a very unprecedented, difficult times. We're all away from our temples, away from our communities, but it's only because of support from our monthly donors we've been able to keep literally the lights on in the temple. And there are no words that are enough to share our appreciation for you all. And we really, really appreciate it at this time. We want to give a special call out to Will Prabhu and their family for a very generous donation that they've given us earlier this week that is helping us cover the difference of not having enough to pay off our monthly expenses. So really, thank you so much. This means a lot to us devotees. Times are tough for everybody. So it is a huge, huge significance of any help that is provided. So we'd like to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra just to share appreciation for our donors at this time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have a few little fun, lighter announcements before we go to some other stuff. But this week and coming weeks, there's going to be graduations happening. Obviously, all of our graduates are not able to celebrate their graduation, so we wanted to appreciate them. I got these names just like during the class, so I'm sure I have missed a few names here, but we wanted to appreciate some of our community kids who are graduating elementary school. Some of our kids are graduating middle school to go to high school. We have Yogeshwar, who's graduating his high school, and we have Shamapriya and Ria, who both are graduating the undergraduate in college. So if I missed anyone here, did I miss anybody who's graduating any of these things? Anyone who's graduating a master's or PhD that I missed? Did I get everyone?
Gita Amrita.
Is Gita Amrita graduating?
Vijay Krishna.
He's going to high school.
Okay, Vijay. So I wasn't sure if Meridian had a graduation, but I put Rishi's name just in case. But Vijay Krishna, congratulations. Is Geetamrita graduating as well, Prabhu?
No, not the elementary school. She's just going from one grade to another.
Well, of course, it's a celebration, even going from one grade to the other. But wanted to congratulate everyone, particularly Yogeshwar, Shamapriya, and Riya, because their graduation takes them to a next bigger chapter in their life. And we pray for all the graduates. We chant Nashinga prayers. Let's say a special Nashinga prayer for protection of all our 2020 graduates, with respect of which school they go to. Today, some of our devotees in our congregation are taking the Bhakti Shastri exam. Many of our devotees in our community have been taking Bhakti Shastri classes from ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So we want to wish them all the best as they're taking their exam today. This past Friday, we had our Bhajan Sandhya after a long time. It was really, really good. We had so many devotees participate. We will have our next Bhajan Sandhya on next Friday, coming Friday, May 15th. Please reach out to Sakshi Gauranga Prabhu if you'd like to sign up to do bhajans. It'll be very blissful. Lots of amazing programs happening and will continue to happen. So please make sure you're keeping up to date with WhatsApp, email, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Details will be posted everywhere. And I'm sorry, I should actually stop doing this.